this is the cold water based stable whipped cream, and this is the room temperature water based whipped cream. For all of you that have been wondering when I'm going to be releasing my stable whipped cream long form video, there you have it. Today is the day for that. And another good thing is I'm going to be teaching you two types of whipping styles. Okay, we'll be teaching you using the ice cold water, which is the typical style I always use, and I will also be teaching you using the room temperature water. Do you all believe that you can actually get your whipped cream stabled even without using ice cold water or an ice cold bowl? I will be teaching you how I do that today because you all are the best. So let's go right into it now. So you all need to understand that once your recipe is good, you can use just about any kind of whipped cream, despite the fact that your whipped cream brand has to be very good. But for the purpose of this video, I wouldn't be mentioning any brands, but I need you also understand that any good brand is just fine as long as your recipe is just fine. Okay, you have a good ratio of water to the cream. So now I'm going to be using 400 grams of the whipped cream powder, as seen, already measured out because of time, and I will be pouring that right into a bowl that is super ice cold, and the whisk that is also very super ice cold. The water in this case is also going to be very ice cold. As a matter of fact, I added some ice into the water to ensure that it has the temperature that I need. So I'm going to be using 1 full cup of this 250 ml cup of ice cold water. I personally do not add milk, all right, to my whipped cream because I feel like it alters the stability in some kind of way. So I always just go straight with just the water. Now this is filled up to the brim. That's about 250 ml of water, and so I'm just going to be pouring that into the water. So the next thing I will be doing to make this easier to whip up nicely is to just take it out and give it a little mix with the spatula. This always aids up the whipping process faster, to help it to whip up on time and not to go through the process of combining first. So I manually combine my cream with my water, and then I go on to just activate the whipping process with the bowl. So I'll just go in now and increase the speed of the mixer to the highest speed and whip this up for the next 4 minutes until it doubles in volume. Let's go. The cream is coming up nicely, but it's not whipped up to my satisfaction yet. I usually put it at the mark of 4 minutes. Sometimes it stays a bit longer, especially when the volume of the cream is a whole lot more than this volume. This is just a test run size, so I didn't intend to use a whole lot for it. We're almost done whipping now, and I can already see how stable this cream looks. This is going to be a pretty much straightforward video, and once it's whipped up, I'll be showing you the stability test, and then we'll move on to the next version of the whipped cream video that doesn't require ice cold water. So this is what it looks like, almost about 3 minutes max. So I'm going to still leave it for another about 30 seconds, about 1 minute, to ensure I get my 4 minutes mark. At the end of the 4 minutes, it's not supposed to be grainy in any way possible. It's supposed to be smooth to touch and to taste, all right? And it's supposed to hold its shape very well. And that's when you know that it is very stable. So let's go one more time. Okay, so we're gonna see what this looks like now. You all can also already see from the whisk, the wire whisk, how stable it is already. See how it holds its shape. So I'm literally gonna have to shake this up very vigorously to get, can you see, to get it out of the whisk, because it is actually very stable. That is one of the tests to show how stable it is. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to scrape the sides round to make sure that it's all well combined in thoroughly. which is already done, see, and then you're supposed to put it on your spatula or your palette knife, as the case may be, and it's supposed to hold its shape without falling off or being soupy in any way possible. That is when you know that your whipped cream is super stable. And it's supposed to double in volume, all right, and have, you know, a considerable amount of volume to double in size. That's it basically. So now this is what the whipped cream looks like after whipping it up for 4 minutes. This is what it looks like. You can see. So now we're going to run a quick stability test to confirm what I am telling you. Can you all believe that this whipped cream is so super stable that it can actually hold its shape even if I flip it over without it falling out, and even shaking it and it's not coming out of the bowl? Can you see? That's what it is. This is what you get when you have a stable whipped cream. And also note that this whipped cream can actually sit out at room temperature for up to 24 hours without it melting out or getting ruined. This is the second stability test. Trust me, there are some whipped creams that are stable, but they will not be able to hold its shape on a spatula. For this whipped cream to hold its shape on this spatula, you can know that the guarantee on it is over 100%, and that's it right here. I just need to like shake it all off before it goes right into the bowl back. So that's what we get. So for the second video, I'm still going to be using this bowl, all right, for the purpose of the speed I want to achieve with this video. I'm just simply scraping this out. What I'm going to be doing is to be washing this bowl behind camera, and I'm going to be returning it back to show you the second version of the whipped cream using room temperature water, for you to know that it is not cold at all. You'd see from the video that the bowl has just been washed and has no iota of cold in it, so it's going to come out just normal temperature, and we are going to all see how it is going to come out, whether it's going to be stable or not, because we all know it's going to be stable. And so I'll be right back to show you the process on how I achieve my stable whipped cream with the room temperature water. Okay, so for this particular version of the stable whipped cream, we're going to be using more quantity of the whipped cream powder to the same amount of water used in the other one. You remember that in the first video I had 400 grams of the whipped cream powder to the 1 full cup of the ice cold water. But for this particular version, I'm going to be having 500 grams of the stable of the whipped cream powder, as you see me already measured out here, and I'm going to be using the same quantity of the water that I used. That's the 1 cup to the brim quantity of the 250 mils for it. The reason for this is because remember that it's a room temperature water recipe, and because of that, it just makes sense that there's going to be more powder inside of it to aid the stability, despite the fact that apart from the water content being cold, the room temperature water will do justice to it as long as you add up a bit more of the whipped cream powder into the composition. So at this point, we're going to be using more whipped cream powder to less water, right? So I feel like that makes sense. So we're going to go on now. I am deliberately repeating to use the same wire whisk for you to all know that I've used it before and it is actually very room temperature now. The bowl is also super room temperature. The water is room temperature. The powder is room temperature. Everything is room temperature, but you'll be surprised that at the end of this video, it's going to come out looking stable. And guess what, guys? For this particular recipe, you all don't need to even chill the cream in the freezer or in the fridge after whipping it up. You can actually immediately use it up straight away, and it will still hold its shape very perfectly even when you use it around the sides of your cake, either to comcoat or to give you the final coating on your cake. So let's go right into it now. This is the 500 grams of the stable whipped cream powder, and this is the water, the lukewarm water that I am going to be pouring into the 1 cup filled. All right, just the way I did before, filled to the very brim, 250 mils in actual fact. So if you don't have this cup, you can use any 250 mils of water. All right, and then you just pour this in the same pattern that I used the first time, and then you just go on to avoid any spill. So I'm just going on, all right, to pour this in with the bowl out, and then once again I'm going to be giving this a quick mix, just a very quick mix, to get it well combined in. Remember that it's not ice cold water, so you all don't want to keep it whipping on too long a time so that you don't alter the stability in any way. So this is what it's going to look like just before whipping. And then I'm going to be putting it into the mixer the way I did the first time, and then I'll just go ahead to whip it up. Yeah. So this is what it looks like when it starts whipping up. Just like this. This is also going to whip up for about 4 minutes, right? Or until it doubles in size, or until it whips up stiff. So it's coming up nicely now. So at the end of this video, I'm going to be showing you both of the results, so you all can see that it has not so many differences, but will give you the same result, despite the fact that one is more convenient to achieve, whilst the other one is a little bit more complicated to achieve. Now you guys can see the volume that this whipped cream is giving us. It is coming up very nicely, but it's not done yet. But it's giving us the kind of vibe that we need to achieve our room temperature water stable whipped cream. Okay, we've been on for about a few minutes now. You all can see that it is already holding its shape very nicely. But for the benefit of doubt, what I do at this point for this particular recipe is just to give it a quick mix, you know, just a very quick one, to make sure that all the cream, the powdered part of it, is all well blended in. Remember that I've tried to reduce the mixing time for this. That's why the fact that the minimum mixing time, the minimum whipping time is 4 minutes, but I always try to leave it at that 4 minutes because it's not cold water, so you don't want to overwork it. So this is what we're doing now, and what I'm doing now is just to combine it finally. Now we all can see that it is already stable enough. I'm going to be carrying out the stability test on this one too. After about 4 minutes, this is what we have with the whipped cream now. So I'll just go on like the first time. I'll just go on, see that? I'll just go on to shake this off, also with a little struggle. You all can be, would you all believe that even the one that is with room temperature water has to be shaken off vigorously to get it out of the wire whisk? That's just to show you how stable it is. So again, I'm going to be trying to run it together, and by the time we're done, by the time I show you what is inside, you all will see that it is more in volume. Remember, I used more of the whipped cream powder, so it makes sense that there's more volume than the first one here. So guys, this is what we have for the room temperature stable whipped cream. Now you can see how creamy, how smooth it is, holding its shape also. Can you see? Holding its shape also, and you see that holding its shape also. And I'm just gonna go right in back with it, and I'm gonna carry out the stability test like I did for the first one, so you all know that it's not about the cold water really, it's about the composition and the technique and the little tips and tricks I mentioned while sweeping up this cream that you all need to note. I would give it a quick listing before we end the video. So right now, here's the stability test. So you all can see that this particular whipped cream also can hold its shape. Look at it. I'm shaking it as much as I want to shake it, and trust me when I tell you that it is just going to remain like this. So this particular whipped cream can also sit out at room temperature for several hours without it having to get ruined or smeared or smudged up. Remember guys, that this is a room temperature water stable whipped cream that I've brought to you guys. Look at it. It stays just the way I left it. So that's it. Let me give you a quick run on the modalities. And by the end of the video, I will be showing you both of the whipped creams to know if you can tell the difference on which one was used to whip up with ice cold water or which one was used to whip up with the room temperature water. But in the meantime, note that when you are working with the ice cold recipe, you all have to use a lesser whipped cream powder quantity to the right amount of the ice cold water. You all have to make sure that the bowl is ice cold, the wire whisk is ice cold. Yeah, the water is also ice cold. And most often times you have to make sure that some ice is even contained in the water to aid the temperature that you want it to be at the desired temperature. And then for the other one, you know, you just make sure that everything is ready for you. The advantage that, I don't know, I'm not able to say the advantages against each other, but they all have both of their advantages. One thing that is constant is the room temperature water whipped cream is more convenient to make, because you can actually have a last minute order and not worry about how you need to chill up your bowl, chill up your water, chill up your whisk prior to whipping for the fast or quick cake you need to make. You just get your bowl and get everything together and make it, and make sure that as long as your composition is right, your whipped cream is going to give you the result that you need. But for the ice cold water recipe, the only thing about that one is it enhances the taste better because it's actually cold, because you know whipped cream is a cold dessert cream. So you need to do the, and especially for when you want to decorate a cake that is going maybe interstate and transit, going on a long journey, you might want to use up the ice cold water, you know, option, because yes, it helps it to stay in shape a lot more than the one that is lukewarm water. And also, you also know that aside from the fact that that has a long time effect and to make the cake stay long enough without melting off, know that if it's for a quick cake or for a short distance trip or for your everyday cake that you want to quickly whip up, you can always go on with the room temperature whipped cream recipe, judging from the fact that not everybody will own a freezer or anything to get their bowls chilled up. So you don't have anything to worry about any longer. If you don't have a freezer to chill up your cream or chill up your water or chill up your bowl or your whisk, your whipped cream game can still be strong and tight when you follow through with the recipe that I am giving you today, and when you follow through with the steps and the tricks that I have just mentioned in this video. I feel like that's going to be all for the class today. I hope that you've learned something and you're going to go and add this into your whipped cream game and come back with your feedbacks and reviews and comments on how it worked for you. So that said, this is the result of both of the whipped cream recipes. This is the cold water based stable whipped cream, and this is the room temperature water based whipped cream. So let me know in the comments which you'd prefer to try out the next time you are whipping up a cream to decorate your cakes. Till next time, I remain your favorite baker girl, Famous Dessert Girl.